Sound of clashing steel, a low monstrous growl, and chaotic goblin chattering. Lin stood at the heart of the chaos, a smirk playing on his lips. His spiky white hair was a stark contrast to the swirling, inky blackness of the shadow of abyss he'd created. This was his domain, his personal playground, the goblin temple brought to life. "All right, boys," he yelled, his voice cutting through the din. "Let's get 'em." And just like that, 100 pairs of glowing red eyes surged forward. The goblins were a chaotic motley crew. There were giants, their heavy footfalls shaking the ground, and tiny ones, scuttling like insects between their legs. They brandished every weapon imaginable, rusty swords, sharpened spears, crude axes, all of them eager for a fight. Their target? A beast straight out of a nightmare, a three-headed Cerberus, its growls vibrating through the very air, its fur as dark as the shadows it stood in. Sinju, his emerald dragon scale cloak shimmering even in the gloom, moved like a phantom. He saw his opening. "Time to get creative," he muttered, a grin matching Lin's. He grabbed two charging goblins by their scruffs, and with a flicker of emerald light, vanished. A split second later, they reappeared directly under the Cerberus's massive hind legs. "Mow 'em down, boys, mow 'em down!" Sinju roared. The goblins, disoriented but furious, immediately started hacking away at the beast's legs. Sinju didn't stop. He was a blur of motion, teleporting, grabbing two more goblins, and planting them by another leg. He repeated the process, a whirlwind of dark skin and emerald scales, until goblins were swarming all four of the beast's mighty pillars. The Cerberus, unable to see its attackers in the suffocating darkness, let out a piercing, agonized scream that echoed through the abyss. The ground trembled, and a blinding light erupted from the beast. We braced ourselves, and when the light faded, the monster was different. The three heads had merged into one, a single terrifying maw crackling with raw power. Arcs of lightning danced across its fur. Gusts of wind swirled around its paws, and embers of fire dripped from its jaws. It had upgraded. A single supercharged dog with the power of a storm. But it had one fatal flaw. It was still blind. In Lin's shadow of abyss, only he, Sinju, and their goblin horde could see. "It can't see us," Lin shouted over the howl of the wind. "Keep pushing." What followed was a brutal, desperate ballet. We were chopping, hacking, slashing, dodging. The dog was a force of nature, blindly lashing out with lightning strikes that scorched the ground and fireballs that exploded in the darkness. We lost goblins, dozens of them, vaporized by lightning or consumed by flame. But for every one that fell, two more took its place, relentlessly chipping away at the monstrous beast. It felt like an eternity. My arms ached. Sinju was panting, but we couldn't stop. The beast put up a hell of a fight, a testament to its power even when blind and cornered. And then, with one final synchronized strike from me and Sinju, and a last desperate push from the remaining goblins, the creature let out a final gurgling roar. It staggered, its elemental fury dying down, and then it crashed to the ground with a world-shaking thud that sent the last of the goblins flying. Silence. We stood there, breathing heavily, waiting. We waited for the loot chest, the triumphant fanfare, the surge of XP. But nothing happened. The body just lay there, unmoving. Suddenly, a shimmering, translucent screen popped up in front of both of us. The text glowed with a menacing, fiery light. "System notification. Would you like to enter a new world? The gates of hell have been unlocked. You are required to enter and map this uncharted area." Required? As the words sank in, the shadows around us began to recede. Lin's abyss dissipated, and with it, his army of goblins faded away like smoke in the wind, leaving just the two of us and the giant dead dog. I turned to Lin, my mind reeling. "Man, that's one hell of a move, Lin," I managed to say, gesturing to the empty space where 100 goblins had just been. "Seriously, an entire goblin army? Why didn't you tell me you could do that?" Lin just shrugged, a tired but triumphant glint in his eyes as he looked from me to the ominous screen still hanging in the air. The real fight, it seemed, was just about to begin.